In this video, what we're going to be doing is looking at some updates around the recent Bethesda potential leak of a Fallout 3 Remastered, but really just a store page listing on Amazon. If you guys aren't familiar, I made a full video on it a couple of days ago now, and more or less on Amazon's website, Bethesda had a bunch of listings for a video game, priced at $60 for Xbox One, PS4, and PC, with a standard, deluxe, and collector's edition also being available. There's no information on the page itself outside of a placeholder release date of December 31st, 2019, and this video, which a lot of people connected to Fallout, many people speculating it would be a Fallout 3 remaster. In my original video, I concluded that I don't think it's a Fallout 3 remaster. I'm not sure if I'm necessarily in the minority per se, but there's been a lot of coverage on this topic and a lot of people saying they still think it's a Fallout 3 remaster. So in this video, looking at some of the new details, I think it's more evidence for some things about which game this could be and which game this definitely isn't. But I think there's also some evidence that this is a real game. It seems like the original source for these listings was actually this guy named Wario64 on Twitter. He tweets out new game deals and all kinds of new game listings using an affiliate link, so people follow his Twitter, buy a new game once it goes live, and he gets some money in return. So it makes quite a bit of sense for him to have been one of the first people to realize when a new game listing goes up on Bethesda's side. When he originally tweeted this out, it was 10:35 a.m. on Saturday, and the listing was up for a while. I'm not sure on exactly how many hours, but I filmed and edited my entire video referencing these store pages, and they were still up that entire time. It wasn't like it was immediately taken down an hour later, it was a few hours at the very least. But by end of day Saturday, this was taken down, and I think that does add an interesting part to this story. One of the interesting parts being, you could buy this game on any of the various platforms. And as of right now, I know a couple of people that have tweeted at me or messaged me that continue to have pre-orders for this. They can find it in the orders section of their Amazon account, and even though they can't view the game store page anymore, they do still have the order history there, and it again hasn't been canceled. I think the fact that those orders still exist, and also the fact that Bethesda has said literally nothing about this, means it's a real game. I think if this is just an accidental posting, or if it was literally nothing, then they would have come out and said something about it or canceled all of the pre-orders. In the past 5 days, they've done none of that. One other thing of note, one of the things I was speculating that could be likely, although it still wasn't my full prediction, was that this could be Starfield, the next up-and-coming game from Bethesda Game Studios. Some people have speculated that we'll see Starfield releasing in 2019. I thought that was ambitious, but hey, maybe this correlates to that. In reality, it seems almost 100% confirmed that that's not the case. Even though there's literally no information on it, Starfield actually has its own Amazon page. While I recorded that original video, I didn't realize that. Although one of the interesting parts is the Starfield page actually has less information. You can't buy the game, you can't see the price of the game, you technically can't even see what platforms the game will be available on. Obviously that's quite to the contrary as to the past leak we just saw. But the other big source of information around this is actually from another YouTuber and content creator that known as Skullsies. Some of you guys may have heard about him in the past. He's made several leak-related videos, or actually copyright or trademark videos. He was one of the first people to realize that ZeniMax had trademarked the term Redfall, which ended up getting a ton of coverage, and many people cited him as their original source. Well, now he actually is saying that he is a source that can provide further details around this leak. So naturally with this, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not calling Skullsies a liar, but this is quite literally one of those things where we are 100% taking him at his word. There's no correlating proof, there is no way to actually verify whether this is true or not. He hasn't shared any further details outside of what supposedly this source did say. And even beyond that, he obviously has a lot of reason to fake this if he were to. He can make a video on it or several videos on it. Again, not saying he's not telling the truth, but it's important to keep all of that information in mind. So shortly following the leak going live, he tweeted out, "Update on the Bethesda Amazon leak. My anonymous source just gave me an update. While this leak did come from within Bethesda, it was not planned and there are rumors of an internal investigation. The countdown timer was added in by the leaker to spice the leak up a bit. That means that the countdown timer likely has nothing to do with the leaked game itself. This means the game could be anything and isn't necessarily Fallout related." He also made a follow-up video on this just last night to expand on it, basically saying that there is apparently a massive investigation going on at Bethesda and this was not supposed to come out. In the description, you could find links to his tweet and the original video. Again, if this ends up being true and his source is correct, then he definitely deserves some attention for this. Not the source, but Skullsies. But at the same time, let's unpackage this, let's look at the validity of some of these claims. As I mentioned before, he has plenty of incentive to make this up. But also, I feel like there is potentially some merit with what he's saying. The video that was on the store page was just stock footage. You could literally find another video from 2014 on YouTube that is identical. Somebody took it off of YouTube and put it on the Amazon store listing. That does not sound like Bethesda. Take the Rage 2 teases, for instance. If you actually look at some of the images they shared around that, they were highly custom. It was nothing like just downloading an image off of the internet and reposting it as a tease. But then if you actually go and look at the Amazon listing, that was on Bethesda's store page. The only way that could have got on there if it was from one of the verified Bethesda accounts on Amazon's marketplace. Now you can make the argument that somebody hacked into this, but I feel like the rogue employee explanation could make a lot of sense. You have this store page here, but then at the same time you have this very out of place video that obviously isn't original. I think what Skullsies is reporting on and putting forward actually makes a lot of sense with the facts we have available. Granted, if it is all fake, he could have just made a story that aligns with the facts. In my previous video, I talked about how I thought this potentially could be a controlled leak from Bethesda. We saw last year how after Walmart Canada actually leaked Rage 2, Bethesda took full advantage of that, teasing the game almost immediately following it. That theory definitely doesn't align with what Skullsies is saying here, but I genuinely don't know. It just seems like such an odd situation to have something from the official Bethesda account on Amazon, but then to also have this reused asset. It just rubs me the wrong way. That doesn't seem like Bethesda would do, and it doesn't seem like a controlled leak when you actually look at it from that perspective. Outside of that, some of the other comments people have been making around this is that maybe it's Fallout 76 DLC. No, I mean, they literally just released the roadmap. I don't know why they would not announce future DLC on that roadmap. I don't see a good incentive to do that. And I feel pretty confident in saying if Bethesda released paid DLC for Fallout 76, the community would implode. Or alternatively, that this is actually a combo deal of Fallout 3 Remastered with Fallout New Vegas Remastered. I don't think Bethesda has to do that. I think there's plenty of people that would be happy to pay $60 for each of those games with all their DLC. If they did a combo pack of $60 for both games, they would be leaving money on the table, which would be a mistake. And I'm pretty confident Bethesda knows that. So either way, those are my thoughts on the situation and all the recent news we have around it. What do you guys think? What do you think's going on here? Do you think this is a real leak or a fake leak? Do you think it is somehow Fallout related or definitely something else? And alternatively, do you believe Skullsies' story? Do you think what his source is saying or apparent source is accurate? As always, again, I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And with that, I hope to see you all next time. Later.